Well, welcome everybody to another CTC software webinar. Today we're going to cover a Layer Boss, which is part of our Manager Suite. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tony Crick. I'm the Civil Product Manager here at CTC Software. And as always, these webinars will be recorded to our YouTube channel so you can view them later, share them with your coworkers, and if you want to be appraised of any of the upcoming webinars in the future, go to our website and the events page, and you can register there for all future events so that you don't miss another one. As we go along here, if you have any questions, please enter them into the question panel, and we will get to them at the end of the webinar. So with that, let's get started today. Layer Boss is part of our management set of tools, and it's really for managing Civil 3D. Our management, the whole Manager Suite, is for managing object layers, drawing layers. Native interfaces can be clumsy and slow, and Layer Boss will help us automate the creation and updating of all the objects and layers in our settings to and from our spreadsheet files. Then the spreadsheet files can be exported with all the settings from an existing template and used going forward to manage all layer settings. So as I mentioned, it's part of our CIM Manager Suite of tools. We have several other tools in there that help with our template management that I think will find it very useful. We are currently on version 26.0, so if you don't have that, I encourage you to update, as we are always changing and improving our software to help make your jobs easier. And it will work in the last 4 versions of Civil 3D, now back to 2022. So today we're going to talk about how we can create and modify layers using Layer Boss, and how that will help us standardize our layers across all of our project drawings, so therefore we can enforce consistent layer standards efficiently, thereby saving time and automating our layer management tasks. So why a Layer Boss? Well, we all know, as I'm assuming most of you are, Civil 3D managers, CAD managers of some sort, or supporting a users on that level. And we know that drawing templates can be inconsistent at times, and updating templates can be confusing, and tedious layer editing is line by line, generally in a layer manager or our object settings. And Layer Boss will export into user-friendly Excel spreadsheet formats where we can do things en masse. So we save those spreadsheets, and then we can quickly compare and update existing drawings. We can compare our Excel spreadsheets to any drawings at any time, and we can even separate our tabs and check those as well. And we can include XREF layer states from our templates. So we can change and maintain our spreadsheets for specialized templates. The spreadsheet editing maintains consistent drawing templates for us. And Template Tracker will identify inconsistencies before there's a problem. We will show some of that as we go along here. And as always, with all of our tools, we have no proprietary settings. So you can start with the templates you have and clean those up with ease, and you won't have any of your users out there going rogue anymore. And if they do, you can find out what they did. So with that, let's jump into a drawing here. Okay. So this drawing here is maybe my base drawing. I have an XREF in here as well. So I have my design base and my existing base XREF'd in. Here's my existing base. So let's talk about in the design base itself, how we can get some consistent layering from that. If we had these layers in here, we wanted to compare those to a template such as this. If I had a template here, we will get to that in a minute here, but let's first just talk about how do we export from any drawing. It can be a template, it can be a drawing such as this, and then how do we edit those and then bring them back in. So here's our layer boss up here. It actually works sort of in conjunction with our template tracker. We'll show you that here too in a minute. And layer boss focuses on the object layers and the drawing layer types. So when we first open layer boss in our export, our drawing layers, this is the interface we get. So it's typical of all of our tools. For those of you that haven't seen it before, we'll run through this real quick. Over here, we have some pull down options, really matching the top ribbon area there. So our help, we get at videos. You can click that at any time. It will take you right to, and any tool will take you right to the tool videos on our web page, our YouTube web page, specific to that our tool, and of which this will be one shortly. If you want to request a feature, if you find a bug right there, we can check our licensing right here, and pretty much the same stuff over here. So if you have our tools, you don't know what version we're on right now. I mentioned before we're on 26.0, and if you're not, you should probably update, because we're always making changes and improvements. So when we open it, I think by default, you're not going to have anything selected here. So the XREF drawing will show up here because it's XREF'd in here. So we know there's an XREF in here. So some of the things we have here is we have, right away, we have our layers to export. And since nothing is selected, nothing will get exported. So let me click our current drawing. So I'm going to get all the layers from our current drawing. And we see that now there's 220 layers to be exported. So if I include my XREF, so if I just click this, again, nothing's going to happen. I have to use these together. So now we see it jumped up to 435. So now if I export that to an Excel, oh, let me back up here. So we can also include our STB if we're using a STB in there in our background colors. Let me go ahead and turn that on. So it's really just going to show us the colors of our line types in the export. And then if we wanted line types, if we wanted to export any additional line types, we could to get at. We'd select right here. For instance, if I use the CTC line types, just if you're going to create layers or change things, you would want those in there. Otherwise, we're not going to get them. I'm going to leave that off for right now. So we export to an Excel. It's going to kick us right out to a browser. And then we can make a new one right here. So I'm going to call this DBase 1, let's say. So I'm going to hit save. And then right away it asks me, do I want to open it? I'm going to say yes. So this can remain open while we're making changes to it. And then we can just reload it to see what we're getting in the back. So when we see it, here's I included the colors here. Now they won't update if I change anything automatically, but they will be a visual for you in the spreadsheet itself. So let's do something here. Let's pick on this C walls, because I have that in the XREF and I also have that in the active drawing itself, the current drawing. So it's here and it's also here. So let me switch to this, and this is gonna come down to what I talked about before with the current layer state and how this is gonna work. So let me first change that. So let's scroll down to it. So you see we have the same exact layer in here, the seawall. So if I wanted to, for instance, let's make it another color. Let's make it blue so it stands out. And if we wanted to add a description to there, such as it's in my existing base, so let's say it's existing, and then I hit save here, and then I come back to my drawing. So if I come back here, I'm going to close this, go ahead and close it. Can close it either way, the X or the close button, doesn't matter. And if I want to bring those in to make some changes, I hit the create edit. Then I just simply have to browse to that one, which is this one we just made right here. And then what do I want? Which tab do I want to load? So if we see it, let me open that back up. So we see there's two tabs here, current drawing, and then the name of the XREF that's in there. So if I wanted to bring just the XREF in there, and I said I was going to do this one into the current drawing, and then I hit this, so I can sync, I can add, we'll get to that in a second, and I hit next, it's going to say there's nothing to do. Why is that? It's because in this drawing, Civil 3D gives it a prefix before there. So it's not going to do anything. So if I come back here and I set this to none, and I say OK, or next, we can see up here that it's going to change. So you might be assuming, hey, that's going to fix my XREF because I want my XREF in there to be a blue color for this drawing, but maybe I don't. So let me say OK and show you what happens here. So we had some other reports here, which I should have jumped to. We'll get to that in a second. So if I come and I look at my layer manager over here, and I've filtered this out to find it. So we see it changed right here, right? But nothing changed. And that's because it's part of this XREF. So if I do an X list on it, and I pick that, it's telling me it has this LBX prefix in the bar separator there. If I go back and I look in my drawing and I hit the XREF, and then I scroll down to that layer, we'll see that it has not changed. So that's probably not what we wanted to happen, right? So we see it still maintains the same look that it had there. So let's go back. Let me fix this. I'll show you how quickly we can fix this back to the way it was. So if I come back and look at this again, I come to my current tab here, and I see that it is unchanged here. I can just come back to my create edit, and I can just load that tab and it will fix it back in my drawing. So if I made that mistake, I can get that back very quickly. So I'm going to browse to the same Excel, open that up, current drawing tab this time, and none. And if I say next, let's do this. If I go to add, we're not going to see any difference. So the sync is, I don't know if you noticed that before. We'll get to that again. We'll do it again. So in this case, it's not going to update anything. Let me just back up real quick. Let me grab this other tab and hit the sync and then say next. So I'm going to get this. So when I see these down here, because I'm syncing it, it's not part of this drawing. They're coming from, they're in these two layout tabs right here. So therefore I can't change those. They're going to be ignored if I leave this picked. But here's where I said if template tracker can come into play with it. So if I check that off, it would swap it to layer 0 automatically, or I can come in here and now I can see with Layer Boss what's all attached to that layer. So I can start to do some swapping here if I wanted to. So we can fix this kind of on the fly, fix some of our styles right within our drawing right there. And that's the difference between those two. So I'm going to go back to ignore that, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go back to add, and I'm going to pick that current drawing again, let it go ahead. And now I see it's going to get changed back. Same description, nothing we changed. I'm going to say okay. And now if I look at this in my layer manager, I can see that it's changed back to how it was. Okay, so but what if I wanted this to be blue just in this drawing? So that's where the layer state comes into play. Let me open this back up. And this time I'm going to select this tab right here. And what this is going to do when I hit the export, it's going to put that prefix, I'll go ahead and overwrite this. It's going to put that prefix in front of, whoops, I need to close the Excel. It's going to put the XREF prefix in front of it. So then I can change it. If I want to, yes, yes. And now you see when I click here, we've got the separator, the bar separator. So now it's going to be reflected in the actual XREF in this drawing only, not affecting the XREF at all. So let me go back down here. Let me change that again to color 5 for blue. I can also type blue, by the way. So if I wanted to do it that way, I could. I put the existing on there again, and I hit save. And I can close this and bring this back in. So when I browse back out to that file, I'm going to open that. And this time I do want that tab. And I want the current drawing. And I want this XREF. And I'm going to hit next. Uh-oh, we have an error. So why do we have an error in the line type? If we look down here, it's telling us there's an error. So if this is a longer list and for some reason it won't go, it's going to tell you where the layer or where the error is. So in this case, it's within the line types, and our OK is grayed out. So it's not going to load until I resolve that. So let me go back in here. And it's because of this right here. This line type doesn't actually exist in this drawing. But it is in here. So let me change it to that. Let me do a save and do a reload. And now it says it's good. It's going to update that. So it's not going to change it. It's going to put the new description on there and the new color. Let me say OK. And if I do a regen on here, you see it changed there. And if we come back and look in the actual XREF itself, it's still the same. It's still this same layer, same color, everything is the same. So, but what if we did want to make that update into that XREF? If we use this in a lot of different drawings, I could do that too. So let me just change it back to how it was. Let me open this back up. And let me change this back to 8. And I will take the description off as well. And the line type can stay the same. That's okay. That's not going to be affected. I'll hit the update or the save there. Then I'll come back and re-import it. And we'll change it back. And we'll show you how we can change it in the XREF. So if it's used in a lot of different drawings, it will be in every drawing we use it in from right here. So I'm going to reload that. Again, I'm going to use that tab into the XREF. I'm going to say next. All good. Say OK. And it changes it back. I'll just hit a regen here. Oh, I used the wrong color. That's okay. That's all right, because we're going to change it in here anyway. So if I wanted to change it in the XREF drawing, I can come back to my export, and I can do what I did the first time. I'm going to turn that off. Actually, I'm going to turn all of these off. I'm going to say I'm going to include additional drawings. No, I'm not. Let's do it this way. So there's different ways we can get at it. I'm just going to do it like this. We're back to 435. I'm going to go ahead and export it. And I'm going to overwrite this one again. And I think I have it open. Hang on, let me close it. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's give it a new name. So let me go back to that. Let's call it O2. Save that and open it. And now let's go back down to that layer again. So I could have exported that from that drawing as well. Let me do it this way. So there's a lot of different ways we can do this. Let me change it to 5, and I'll put existing here. Oops. Okay, let's save that. I'm going to close this one. Leave that one open. So let's come back to our import. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to browse to that O2 that we just made here. And then I want this tab again, but this time I want to go grab that drawing. So I don't even have to have it open. And it will go get it. So no XREF this time, and I'm going to say next. And this will tell me too now. If I say OK, I should get an error. Yeah, I get an error that says I can't do it because it's open. So if we wanted to do it here, we would do it in the actual drawing. So let me close that. And then if I close the drawing and we do it again, let me close it. And now let's go back to our create edit. And let me go grab that spreadsheet again, O2. Do the same thing. We want this tab. We want to browse to that drawing. So it's this one right here. No XREF. And I say next this time. So now it's going and it's looking for that drawing. So it's going by the path. It's finding that drawing. And unless I didn't hit save, did I do the wrong one? Let me look at this. Oh, I did it in the wrong tab. Okay, so I want this one. Did it in the wrong tab. So let's do it here. 5. Now save it. Okay, now I can just come and reload it. And now we see it's happened here. So if I say OK right now, it's going to know that a change was made to that XREF, and I should just have to reload it. I don't know how long it takes for it to pop up in there. It says it needs reloading. Oh, there it came up. So if I just go ahead and hit the reload here, and now it will be like that, and we see a change. It will be that way in all of our drawings. Okay, so what else can we do with this? Creating layers and stuff is pretty easy to do on the fly. So let me come back here. Let's go back to our layers. And let's scroll down. We see we have a lot of layers with text behind them. But if I want to make them all to say reflective of, let's say, label, for instance. So now because it's an Excel spreadsheet, I can do the find and replace. So if I find all of the text, and I find all, and we see there's a bunch of them. So there's 25 cells that were found. So if I wanted to replace those with, let's say, label instead, and I go ahead and I replace them all. Replace all. So it made all 25 changes there. I hit save here. And now if I come back to re-import that tab, the current drawing tab again, I browse to that one once again, grab this, and I do want that in this case and that, and I'm going to say next. And now we see these bunch of these changed. So it's syncing these up, but it can't delete these, right? Because as we saw before, they're part of these styles. So they're all part of these styles. So unless we use Layer Boss here to change them, they're not going to change them, but I'm going to get new layers for those. So two ways to do this. So then if I just back up here and I just say I want to add those layers, now it's just going to add those layers. It's going to add all those new layers. Okay, let's show you one other thing here. So we have in here also, we have new name. So if I had CIM, and I just want to change the name of that layer. So I'm going to give that layer a new name. Let's call that one C text. I'm going to save that. And I'm going to come back into my drawing and reload that. Now it says it's going to update that layer. So it's going to give it a new layer name. So this layer will get changed to this. The C wall is going to be blue, and it's going to change for that because I did that before. So let me fix that too. Let me put that back to how it was. Go back here, make that 8, and take that off. Save it, come back, reload it. So kind of nice we can do all that right on the fly when we see something like that. So now I'm going to get C text, and this CIM is going to go away. So if I say OK, I come back and I look at my all layers. Well, here, first let's look at that. That's back to where it was. I look at all these. CIM, no longer there. Change to the text right there. Okay, so some really easy and quick ways to update our layers, both in our drawing and not in our drawing. So So if I had a template to start with, if I was doing this fresh from a new template, and I started with the out-of-the-box Civil 3D Imperial one I had right here, if I save this as, if I wanted to turn that into my template, and I gave it a, call it CTC, let's call it Design 2025 DWT, and I'll save that. So now I can start with that one, and I can start to make some changes to it. And if I liked the changes that I made or that were in this D base, I can start to very easily update that. Okay, hang on a sec, I got to repath through it. Okay, we'll grab this one again, open that. So in the current drawing, yes, all that's good to go. And I say next. Oh, my plot style was bad. And that's okay. I would have to fix that. So it's telling me right now, line type columns review. So I got a lot of cleaning up to do to that if I wanted to make that happen for this one. Okay, but that's something we can do. We can get through these and get those all fixed up. So let me close that. And let's go to our object layers. It works the exact same way. So if I come into my object layers and I pull them from the current drawing, whoop, yeah, let's do that. Well, first let's do this. Let me close that, and let's touch a little bit on how we would do that natively. And we can have several different of these. So if I come in here again and I come to my object layers, and everything right now is set to 0. So if I cancel that, and I actually made one earlier for this, so let's just go ahead and bring it up. But it's the same process to send those out. Well, we'll do a couple here just to show you. And I'm going to come here and let's call this, I'll just call it object layers. Let's do that to object layers and export it, save it, open it, and we get the same looking format. Now this time we can't do anything here, but we can here. So we can start to change these as we see fit. Let's say we wanted something like C road align for that. Change a couple more just to show you. Let's try these. Will be a good one. Maybe this building site. Let's do that one. So let's do the same thing. We'll give it a A. Let's call it for A for architectural. A building site. Let's just say that, and let's save it. Close that, and then bring it in the same way. So exactly the same process. So if you had several of these, for instance, with different object layers attached to your styles, you could do that way. So we just did that one. So we get the same report that we got before. We see that's an error because I got the equal sign in there, I believe. Didn't catch that. Let me save that again. Come back to my drawing, reload it. There, it's fixed. So it's going to create these layers right in my drawing. So it says it does not exist, so it will make them. Let me say okay. Now if we come over here and we look here again, we see that now that is the default object layer for that. So if you go to bring these back in, that's how they will come in. Okay. So I already have one here that I made earlier, and I'll just bring that in. For a survey template for this one. Then you can just go ahead and re-import all of your figures and such, and they should update here as long as they match your description key set. Oops, I didn't grab the right one. Hang on. I can pull that in again. Next, okay. And now they're there. So they'll be reflective over here, and we can bring those in. And I can do the same thing here this is what I meant by if we wanted to compare this, if this came from an outside entity, for instance, and we wanted to make that so it works for us, open that one. It's the only tab that's in there. Next, we're going to get all of these updates. Some we can't delete. So I can say okay. And now I'd be ready to reprocess. You see how these colors all changed right on the fly. Okay, so now it looks more like probably we would want it to look. All right, so I think that's all I had to show today. So as I said, it's part of the CTC CIM tools. We have our Manager Suite and our Project Suite. The Project Suite made for more everyday users. If you don't have it, you would like to get it, contact us here at ctcsoftware.com. We'd be glad to help you out. And we do have a free 14-day trial too. If you download it, you can try it free for 14 days, no obligations at all. And as always, if you have any ideas or need any help, contact support. Our tools are built for you by suggestions from you to make your life easier. So with that, thank you for those of you who joined us today. If you're watching this on YouTube, you have any questions, you can put them in the comments and we will get them and answer you as soon as we can. Thank you again for joining us here today. We appreciate your time and hope to see you at the next webinar.